Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Zach's Credit Card Guide. Today we're going to do a comprehensive review of Chase's 524 rule as it stands in 2019. If you are new to the channel, we do a lot of credit topics, card reviews, and redemptions. So if you are new, make sure to hit that subscribe button, but let's get started. So guys, we're going to do a quick video on the Chase 524 rule, what it is and what it means for 2019. So first, what is the 524 rule? So there is no official confirmation from Chase that the 524 rule even exists. It's been figured out kind of by the points and miles community through massive data points. And the rule is simply this: if you have opened 5 or more personal revolving credit lines, and that includes charge cards, then you will be automatically denied for most of Chase's cards. So how do you check your 524 status? Well, the easiest way is to log on to like NerdWallet or Credit Karma or some other service that allows you to view your credit report and find your current accounts, and simply add up all of the ones that have been opened in the past 24 months. Now this will include any accounts that are now closed. It doesn't matter. So if you open an account this month and then let's just say you close it next month, even though it's closed now, it still counts because it was opened in the past 24 months. So they don't need to be currently open. Just because you close an account, it doesn't mean it disappears. It is simply all accounts that have been opened in the past 24 months. So when you're looking at your credit report, it should show you a date that it was opened. If it's in the past 24 months, it counts. So what cards count towards the limit? Well, basically all personal cards and some business cards. Basically, if it shows up on your personal credit report, it will count towards the 524 rule. Now, this will sometimes even include authorized user cards because they will sometimes show up on your report. However, if you are denied a Chase card and one of your 524 cards is an authorized user card, there's a couple things you can do about it. You can call Chase's reconsideration line and see if they'll take that into account and basically ignore it. Otherwise, you could contact the issuing bank for that authorized user card. Let's just say you're an authorized user on your spouse's Venture One at Capital One or something like that. You could call Capital One and ask them to remove it from your credit report. Now, most small business cards do not count towards this rule, and it's simply because they don't appear on your personal credit report. The issuers that, as of right now, do not routinely report your business credit card to your personal account are American Express, Chase, Citibank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and US Bank. The issuers that are known to report their business cards to the personal bureaus are Capital One, Discover, and TD Bank. Now, of course, there are tons of banks out there, but these are the major ones, and we have enough data points to work this out. Now, Barclays is kind of mixed. Some people say that they show up, some people say that they don't, so your mileage may vary there. So which Chase cards are subject to this rule? Meaning, for approvals, do you have to be under 524? Well, basically, all of them. There used to be a time not so long ago that there were some Chase cards that were not subject to this. You could be, it didn't matter. You could apply for those cards and still get them. But as of about November of 2018, it appears that Chase has extended this rule to their entire portfolio. So we'll do a quick kind of frequently asked questions. These are the questions that I see a lot on other videos and in various Facebook groups from newcomers to the hobby. So again, if I'm an authorized user on a card, will that count towards 524? Generally, at first glance, yes. However, as we spoke about earlier in the video, there's ways you can handle that. Again, my first step would be to call Chase's reconsideration line, see if they'll just ignore it. There have been reports that that is fine, but if they stand firm on that, then I would contact the issuing bank to see if they will remove that from your report. So if I'm exactly at 524, can I still get one of these cards? No. The rule is if you have opened 5 or more accounts in the past 24 months, you cannot get these cards. So do charge cards like American Express Gold or Platinum, do these count towards 524? Yes, they do. It is any personal line of credit that you have opened in the past 24 months. So what about my student loan, Kohl's credit card, mortgage, anything like that? So with like store cards, if you can use them elsewhere, like if they have a Visa logo on it or something like that, that generally will count. But if it's just something like a Best Buy card and it's through some bank, one of those kind of cards, generally no. And also any sort of like fixed term loan, mortgage, anything like that, those typically do not count. The whole purpose of the 524 rule, as I kind of think about it, Chase put this in to minimize their risk. Basically, they don't want to extend a bunch of credit to people who are opening a bunch of accounts, because generally that can be kind of a sign of risk, someone who's going to run up all of their accounts and then disappear. So the whole purpose of this rule is mostly to limit their exposure. So they're not really concerned about a fixed term car loan or something like that. They're really concerned about credit cards. And that's the whole purpose of this rule. And here's one that I see a lot, but I see it on my credit report. I applied for the American Express Blue Business Card. Awesome card, by the way. And it's on my credit report. A lot of people will confuse seeing the inquiry from an application with the card account itself. So when you apply for one of these cards, again, let's just take the American Express Blue Business Plus, which is an awesome card. When you go apply for that card, American Express will typically do a hard inquiry. And this is kind of the alert that you might see on your phone if you're plugged into NerdWallet or Credit Karma or something when you first apply. And all that means is that they're checking your credit report. You will see those, and those are inquiries or hard pulls, or what some people call them. And you'll see that pretty much for every card you ever apply for. That's not what we're talking about. And a lot of people think that the inquiries are what add up to a 524 count or anything like that. The inquiries are totally separate. You do want to minimize those, and that's a topic for a different day. But that's totally different, and those will always show up. What we're talking about is the actual account, when that posts and it's reporting payment history and everything else. So is there any way around 524? Well, there used to be, and again, a lot of these things kind of updated late last year, so if you look around the internet, you may find some outdated information. There used to be some ways around it. People would say, if you log into your Chase account and there's a banner ad that you can apply through that, you might be able to get it. Or if you get a pre-approved mailer through the mail or something like that. A lot of these ways you used to be able to get around 524, and the data points are kind of rolling in now. It's been a couple months that none of these things work anymore. Basically, Chase has shut the door, and 524 is pretty much a hard and fast rule. So you can try if you want to, but it seems like most of those methods, by and large, do not work anymore. Now, there's always going to be an outlier. Someone will inevitably be down in the comments saying, I was at 2024 and I still got approved. Some people might sneak through, and that's fine. The whole point is basically figure out what is the rule most of the time in most situations so that we can act accordingly. So what's the worst that could happen, right? So I'm at 624. I'm going to go apply for that card and just see what happens. Well, sure, you can do that. Knowing that you're probably going to be denied, it doesn't really seem worth it. So one, you're going to take an inquiry, which those do add up, and it is something to be mindful of. And those can temporarily drop your score. And if you're basically doing that for a very small chance of an upside, again, me personally, I don't see the point. Again, yes, the worst that could happen is you'll get a denial, but now you took a hard inquiry for nothing. And the worst case is potentially it could bring your accounts under scrutiny by Chase, and you could be a candidate for a shutdown. Chase has been known to completely close down accounts if you are seeking too much credit too rapidly. Basically, if your behavior could seem risky, Chase will shut you down. So basically, the theme on this channel is to be conservative, be smart, be strategic, that this is a marathon, not a sprint. Another one is, okay, I'm definitely under 524. I get how it works. I counted it up. I'm only 324. I still got denied. What gives? Well, the thing is, 524 is only one of the factors in the decision-making process. All of these cards are still subject to creditworthiness, credit score, debt-to-income ratio. All of those things still come into play. So you could be at 124 and maybe your credit score is not quite high enough yet, so you still get denied for something like the Sapphire Reserve or something like that. So again, it's not just this, there are other metrics to hit. Now this question comes up from people who are kind of getting into the game. They're at the kind of intermediate level. They kind of get how things work. So they say, I'm at 424, can I double dip? So a lot of people have figured out that if you apply for 2 cards from the same issuer on the same day, that a lot of times it will only be reported as one inquiry. And this is not on the bank's end. There's a lot of information that Chase or Amex will combine hard pulls. It's not that. It's on the bureau side. So when Experian or TransUnion see these two inquiries, they assume that it's a mistake. Basically, something happened, it got pulled twice and it shouldn't have. So they report one. So it's not on the bank side, it's on the credit bureau side. And a lot of people have said, well, go for 2 cards because then it's only 1 inquiry. Sure, maybe you could do that. If you're at 424 and you try to do that, it doesn't really seem like it'll work anymore, that they might retroactively close one of them down. You'll get a call that says, which one do you want to keep? That's been reported as happening. So keep that in mind. And now your accounts are under scrutiny. You've got somebody looking through your accounts. And again, me personally, I don't want to be there. So you can go ahead and try it. You might get away with it. But again, to me, why? If it potentially gets you on Chase's bad side, I don't see the point, especially if it's risking a shutdown. Chase has so many good cards that I would rather just kind of fly under the radar and play the game smart. So now that we know how to count our 524 status and where we sit, when do these slots open up? Well, the best way is to look at your credit report again on Credit Karma or something like that, and you'll see it listed as the issuer credit card opened on this date. Basically, the smart way to play it is the first of the month following that date is typically when that slot is opened up and you're not going to run into any issues. A lot of people say it's the first of that month. Some people say it's that day. Again, me personally, I'd rather just play it safe, and I'm just going to wait till the first of the following month so that there's no question about it. I shoot for automatic approvals. I don't want to have to talk to anybody on the phone, having them go through my accounts and look at everything. I'd rather everything just fly smooth under the radar, just play the game by the rules. So my advice is always going to be wait till the first of the following month. And this one's one of my favorites, but I asked somebody at Chase and they said they've never heard of it or it doesn't exist. There's a couple things. So one, Chase has never publicly acknowledged this rule. It's basically been figured out through crowdsourced data points. So if somebody at Chase told you that the rule doesn't exist, it's one of two things. Either one, they're bound by internal confidentiality, they're not supposed to talk about it, or two, their line of work just simply doesn't come across it. They're not a credit analyst. If you're just talking to the teller or even like a banking relationship manager, they're not involved in the approval process. They've really got no reason to know about it. And again, even if they do know about it, they know they're not supposed to talk about it or at least publicly divulge that knowledge. So again, a lot of people will come on and say that. I talked to somebody, they said it doesn't exist. Look, it does. There's tons of data points. You can't really argue with the data. It is what it is. So there you have it, guys. That's Chase's 524 rule explained as it stands in 2019. I hope that was clear. I tried to get all of the frequently asked questions that I could think of that a lot of newcomers run into. If you think of any new ones, please drop them down in the comments. I'll get back to you. Some of the best ones we'll put up as a pinned comment. And if we missed any, we'll do an updated video, but I'm pretty sure this is a comprehensive review of 524. So if you found this video useful, please give it a like and a share. Share it with somebody else new to the hobby so they can understand their 524 status. If you guys would like to see a video on how to strategize your 524, which cards to apply for when, let me know down in the comments. But otherwise, like I said, if you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. I try to get to every single one. Find me on social media so you can stay in touch. But most importantly, guys, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. That's all I've got for you this time, guys. See you at the next one.